Well, faithful viewers, I regret to inform you that I was incorrect. Hello, I am Xarkun and this is World of Warships Legends. What was I incorrect about? That's probably the question you want to ask. Well, in a previous video, when I last featured this ship, the Tier 7 British battleship Vanguard, I said the Vanguard is a particularly solid Tier 7 battleship, but I was wrong. In fact, the Vanguard sucks. Just kidding, it doesn't suck. I mean, the title of this video says it's bad because, it did 211,000 damage in this game and yet still couldn't manage to carry. But, in fact, the Vanguard is an excellent ship. I would actually go so far as to call it an excellent battleship. Does it have problems? Yes. But this is going to be a very good demonstration of how to play this ship effectively, and that is something that a lot of players, I think, probably struggle with. So we'll see if we've got some good advice to elucidate and, maybe help anybody who wants to play the ship better, maybe help them out with that. This game is a highlight from my past Friday stream. I think I called it Sleeping Salt Wars because I was quite tired when I did the stream. And I should mention that this video does have a guest star. He's on the enemy team. His name is Spotted Gecko, and you might recognize his name because he is a community contributor for World of Warships Legends. He's also playing the Vanguard, and we are going to get into a duel with him one-on-one, so you'll have to stay tuned to see who comes out on top in that duel, unless, of course, you already watched the stream and you already know, but please don't spoil it for anybody. Until then, we should probably talk about what's happening in this game, and that is that I spawned south of the Charlie Cap, which means it's my job to probably not take the cap, given that I'm a battleship, but certainly to try to prevent the enemy from taking it. And we're in the process of doing that by removing 11,000 of that Helena's hit points. Now he's ducking behind the island there, and the cruiser and battleship who spawned with me, well, neither of them came with me to this side of the map. They both don't really appear to know what to do, but now that I've spotted the Helena and Jean Bart out here, it seems like maybe they're going to move into some kind of position to assist me. There's obviously a smoke screen inside that Charlie Cap as well, which indicates the presence of an enemy destroyer, meaning that there is no way I want to push toward this Jean Bart. And actually, I'm wrong. It's not an enemy destroyer, it's a Belfast. You can probably see that judging by the volume of HE coming my way. Now, the Jean Bart stopped shooting, which means he's going to remain concealed inside of the smoke screen, and at this moment, I'm at a bit of an impasse. I can't very well push into a Jean Bart and a Belfast without any assistance. Now, I do have, I think that's an Iowa or a Massachusetts next to me, but for the moment, we're just going to bide our time here until we get spotted again, this time by the Belfast. Now, we have the high explosive loaded, which is an ideal. We want the armor piercing, but the Belfast takes a nasty shot from our battleship teammate over there, and we discharge the high explosive in his direction. The result is actually pretty good, 6k. The Belfast is going to get away unscathed, though. Meanwhile, the first of my team's 2 friendly destroyers has been sunk, and we've also lost a cruiser. The enemy team has lost no ships, and they've managed to capture the Charlie Cap. Despite my efforts, obviously I really couldn't prevent them from doing that, but my team has thus far failed to take any caps, so we're not off to a good start at all. In fact, the enemy team is more than 200 points ahead of us, and they have an income of points from holding on to this Charlie Cap, whereas we have no income. Jean Bart appears, though, as the Belfast's smokescreen faded. No idea what he was doing. Perhaps he was shaking in his boots at the sight of a Vanguard out here. Because, well, let's just say that some people like to call the Jean Bart overpowered. I don't think this is accurate. I think the Jean Bart is a very strong ship, but I don't think it's overpowered. In order for a ship to be overpowered, in my mind, it has to have basically like all strengths and no real exploitable weaknesses. If you want to talk overpowered, we can discuss the Udachi. But the Jean Bart, well, it has two very distinct weaknesses that you can exploit in any battleship, although the Vanguard is particularly good at exploiting one of the Jean Bart's weaknesses, and that is to high explosive. Now, the Jean Bart is a battleship coated in 32 millimeters of armor. The only armor that it actually has thicker than 32 millimeters is the armor encasing its turrets and maybe the armor at the belt. So, if you shoot any high explosive from a battleship or a cruiser that is capable of penetrating 32 millimeters of armor, then you are almost certainly going to get penetration damage with your HE as long as your shells don't hit the turrets. And also, there is the possibility that you will start fires. French battleships in general, and the Jean Bart in particular, melt under high explosive, and the Jean Barts that think it's a good idea to sit stationary, parked nose in to a battleship, with no way to disengage, no island cover to utilize, well, those Jean Barts die if you shoot high explosive at them, and that's precisely what we've been doing. Now, the Vanguard's high explosive is excellent, and so is the armor piercing. And there's, I suppose, my first piece of advice for those who want to try to play the Vanguard better, which is switch your shells actively. Speaking of Vanguards, we did know that the Spotted Gecko was coming around that corner, but we needed to finish off the Jean Bart. Now, Spotted Gecko gets a nasty hit on us there, taking us down below half health, but in addition to all of the other goodies that the Vanguard gets, it gets an improved heal, so we're able to heal up just over half health. Now, Gecko, he's given us a little bit of broadside, but he's tightening up the angle now. So our armor-piercing shells there, kind of ineffective. Second shot out at his nose, kind of aiming for the turret. That shot, a little bit more effective. Gecko hits us in return. Results aren't great, but notice we're switching to the high explosive. Fighting bow-on battleships while you're in the Vanguard, or any battleship in general, really, if you can't overmatch the nose and you suspect that the battleship is not going to give you broadside anytime soon, try switching to the high explosive. I don't care what battleship you're in, getting some damage through the nose with HE and starting fires is better than bouncing AP off the bow of battleships. But if you are going to shoot AP, make sure you do aim at the soft superstructure or else the turrets, which is what we're doing there, although our aim is a little bit off. Gecko is now burning. Keep in mind, he started this duel at full health, but he appears to be getting a little bit distracted. There is actually I think that's a Massachusetts, caught in between Gecko and another enemy battleship over there. So he's kind of in a hopeless crossfire. Gecko is angling toward me and trying to exploit that crossfire, but I don't want my battleship teammate to be in a crossfire. So I'm trying to attract Gecko's attention as much as possible. Get him to turn his guns away from my teammate. I don't want him shooting at him at all. I want my teammate to deal only with the other enemy battleship out there while I deal with Gecko. And we have been dealing with him pretty well, using a combination of our high explosive and armor piercing. And note, we are trying not to get all 4 of our turrets on target when we think Gecko is going to shoot. But after we notice he does shoot, then we turn, we open up the angle, we shoot the front guns, and then we start closing it instantly. High caliber metal there as we get another hit on Gecko. And he's so close to us now that he's in secondary range. So we activate the secondary consumable, because why not? You never know, might get you an extra fire. And as far as I can tell, Gecko has used his damage control, so it should be on cooldown right now. And if we do get another fire, then that fire is going to stick. Gecko has driven us to the back of the map, however. And so we are now forced to do the T-Bull Shuffle, as some call it. And Well, we got a fire burning on Gecko. Whether that came from our main guns or our secondaries, I'm not quite sure. Didn't quite catch it. But I don't think Gecko can put that fire out. And the friendly battleship, who was caught in a crossfire between Gecko and the other battleship, well, he's trying to help us out as he angles against that other battleship out there. Another fire on Gecko, and that one is going to be lethal. We take Gecko down, and that just leaves me, the friendly battleship out there 13.5 kilometers away, versus this Massachusetts and 2 cruisers. The problem here, the enemy has 2 caps. We have 1. And the enemy has held these 2 caps for a good long portion of the game, which means they are far, far ahead of us on points. Now, there are only less than 5 minutes left to go in the game, so really, if we have much hope of winning this, we're going to have to kill all the enemy ships, or alternatively, we're going to have to take down this Massachusetts as quickly as possible, and then I'm going to have to enter a cap along with that friendly battleship in order to prevent the enemy from getting any more capture points. Those are really the only ways that we're going to win, and this is why in the domination mode games, as I've said for years now, I suppose, the capture circles are the primary objective, and you need to take those. It's more important than killing ships. Well, maybe not more important, but it certainly should be your primary focus. You want to be able to win on points by holding the objectives. You don't want to find yourself in a situation like this where you're at a points deficit and there's really no way to get them back. Unfortunately, the friendly battleship succumbs to the fire of the Massachusetts, who is now on half health. We get a fire on him there, and we're turning nose in to make sure that he can't get too much damage on us in return. Massachusetts himself actually shoots some high explosive, possibly realizing that his AP might not be super effective if we are bow in. So that's kind of nice to see. Like I said, try shooting the high explosive at angled battleships if you find you're not getting good results with your armor piercing. There's no reason that you should be afraid to switch shells. And doing so, particularly in the Vanguard, is very rewarding. In fact, I think if you want to play this ship in the best way possible, then you really do need to be switching shells all the time, and you need to be mitigating these poor firing angles by opening and closing your angle constantly. The idea is, when the enemy ship shoots at you, you open up, get all your guns on target, and then close back up again before their reload is finished and before they can send more shells your way. Now, we are on low health right now, and things frankly aren't going well in this game. We've got 1 battleship left, but he's way up north. I guess there's an enemy cruiser up there, so he's pursuing him, but he's in really no kind of situation to help us out. We're on our own versus this Massachusetts, who continues to fire the high explosive at us. One thing, though, that the Massachusetts perhaps has not accounted for is that even if he does light me on fire, my heal is a lot better than his heal, and you can heal 100% of fire damage, which I suppose is an argument people might use to say you shouldn't really shoot high explosive in your battleships. Nonsense. Even if you can heal 100% of fire damage, as long as you keep a focus on the enemy and keep the shots firing, well, frankly, they can't heal fast enough to avoid dying. Now, I'm caught in a crossfire between this Massachusetts and the Belfast, who earlier in the game was harassing us. The Belfast has switched to AP, and I think I'm giving him a little bit too much broadside potentially. But obviously I have to keep my angle against this Massachusetts. We're on very low health right now, less than 5k, but we're able to get the heal off in time, and I believe the heal in progress saves us from death. We get another hit on the Massachusetts, which lights a fire, and I don't think he can actually put that one out. So our damage total, already past 200,000, is going to continue to kick up. Now, though, we really need to take out this Massachusetts and try to deal with the Belfast, otherwise we're going to lose. Unfortunately, we just don't have enough time. Less than 10 seconds left to go, giving flat broadside to the Belfast, who takes us out, unfortunately. But we do finish the game with 211,000 damage done, despite the defeat, and we earn a dank 420,000 credits in the process. So that was a very good game, and in fact, I think this is my personal damage record in the Vanguard. I have not gotten over 211,000 in this particular ship before. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.